I'm saying I hate it when the old boys club, it works a certain way. And, all that we're getting here is a new and different old boys club. And somebody was trying, Michael Young, I'll mention my name, Michael's friend. He's a friend of the show, been on the show. I disagree with him radically about things. He is pimping up the fact that guys like LeBron are establishing a power base for the players. And you know something? I said to him, Michael, not for the players, for 6 players. I'm so sick and tired of this notion that, the trickle-down theory. There is no trickle-down theory. All LeBron James doing is making basketball better for superstars, for guys who are the big names, to establish that the big names will be able to choose where they go and to have more say within the organization. But that's no different than white people who are privileged and wealthy helping other privileged, wealthy people, passing legislation to help one another while the rest of the population fucking suffers.
Preach.
God damn. I don't know. Somebody likes me.
Preach.
Oh, it's Stephen Rose, man. Hi, Stephen. No, yeah. I'm being truthful.
Holy crap, he found us.
It's all about hooking my homeboys up. What do you think when Cousins went to the Warriors for a $5 million deal, 1 year, $5 million? He turned down a 2-year, $40 million deal to the New Orleans Pelicans. Ooh, gee, I wonder why. To hook my homeboys up.
Wait, Steven, I'm getting a text from your dad. He wants to know, where the fuck are you at?
Yeah, it's like perhaps he shows at a late time and then he can't sometime. And it's just a lot of miscommunication, which I will work on that.
Now, I will say this. I will say
text number 2 was he wants to know, what the hell movie was that you watched?
The Purge.
That's about bulimia and vomiting after you eat and all that. The thing that is amazing to me. Oh, by the way, Stephen's father has a backlog of about 300 questions, so we're never gonna get over this fucking hurdle. So help me God. But I'm on a roll here. All right, I am a person who believes that good legislation and good-hearted people benefit themselves and help others. There is no helping others in the equation of these NBA superstars. There is none. None whatsoever. LeBron James helps nobody in the end but LeBron James and his family. He does not really help the tide rise for other players in the league. Nope. And all this notion of, you're just forming another hierarchy. Yep. And that's just not in the interest of building a fairer, judicious system. But no, this is okay, because I'll tell you why it's okay for people. And I'm convinced of this. I'm really convinced of this. I cannot personally imagine why somebody hasn't broken through the sea of humanity and punched Donald Trump in the face as hard as they could and blackened his eye. I don't mean since he's become president. I mean all the way back since he was in the business dealings that he did. But I have a thought that I believe is accurate, and that is deep down, everybody wants to be him. The reason he's the president of the United States is because of the way people think today. They all want to be him. They want to be the one in the driver's seat, fucking people over, not paying their contractors. They want to be the person who's wealthy and goes out to the nicest restaurants. They want to be the guy who gets the most beautiful dates, and he can pick and choose the woman he marries and put a ridiculous goddamn prenuptial agreement together and then walk away from her in 2 years before it kicks in and goddamn it, find another beautiful one.
They don't want to be the guy getting fucked in the ass. They want to do the fucking in the ass.
That's exactly right. That is exactly right. To put it in pornographic terms, there's the person at the bottom of the pyramid and the person at the top. What?
Ironically, that was texted in by his father.
Mr. Who's watching the LeBron James to return, and he said, I'm doing this for my city, for the state of Ohio. And they had the bleachers, everyone clapping in the bleachers. And then it fast forwards to him going to LA. I said, man, you're just doing this to market yourself. I'm like, just be honest. It was never about your fans. It was never about the fans. It was always about you and your homeboys. That's how life is.
And his dream for Bronny Jr. It's the dream. You're going to go to this high school in this city. And I don't care if they get me more star players or not, because now my attention is turning Bronny into the next LeBron. And so it goes.
Space Jam too.
You know what I like? I like the fact that he's going somewhere where he's going to have to put up with LaVar Ball, because that's what he's turning into, man. It's like the pimping sun machine. And it's like, you know something? I can't tell you. I mean, LaVar Ball, when I see him, it's like I say, you know, this is Black Trump. He's going to talk about the big baller brand like it's like his fucking Nike. He's going to sit there and just hyperbolize everything. Oh, his son is a great player, and this LaMelo is this, and LiAngelo is that. And the fact that we know the names of these idiots is because he's been on television so many times talking about them. But, you know, they couldn't make it in Lithuania. Nope. Really? They weren't ready to play there. They're not going to be NBA players. And the one who's in, Lonzo, is coming off of a wholeheartedly unsuccessful rookie year where he was a total letdown and did not lead the team to any more wins, no matter how much of a great passer he was. He never learned how to shoot the ball, and he shoots the ball from this side of his body, and God only knows how he is the number one pick. I mean,
he has a torn meniscus, so he's going to be out for some time this year too.
Yeah, I mean, and you know, and then he cuts his hair. That's the other thing that's beautiful. Lonzo Ball cuts his hair, and it's like, son, you know, that's not going to help you shoot straighter. Okay. I mean, you know, it's all image. Everything is just marketing and image. It's like, how many covers can you get on? You know,
how do you think LA is now becoming this topic of discussion with the whole LaVar situation? Do you think LaVar would get away with that in any other city besides New York, maybe? Because LA is all about Hollywood, right? So it makes a great storyline. Let's see what atrocious, stupid things LaVar has to say on ESPN today.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, what it amounts to is we live in a society where the size of Kim Kardashian's ass, or the 600-pound people that are on television getting weight loss surgery, and or that pig of a woman who Honey Boo Boo's mother, June, and you name it. Anybody who can yell, scream loud enough, Roseanne Barr, and anybody who can pimp themselves incessantly, Donald Trump, proved you can become president.
Hillary Clinton.
No, and there's a
from that bullshit.
You don't know. You see, there's a reason why she can't pull it off. You see, Hillary Clinton never really did anything. I think that if Hillary Clinton were a billionaire because of high-profile business dealings that she had before she ever ran for president, or before she was even the first lady.
Everybody else in Whitewater got fucking sent to jail and under IRS investigation, but the Clintons went straight to the White House.
Yeah, but you know, the reason Bill Clinton was able to win is he's got no conscience. He can grope women, he can do all kinds of shit. And he'll smile. He'll be, how you doing? You know, he'll go through that whole spiel. He's got no fucking conscience. And that's the thing that they all have in common, is that they'll do horrible things and they have no problem in asking for money to get reelected. They're no different than prostitutes. A prostitute has no problem asking you for money under any set of circumstances. Like, excuse me, I'm kind of low on smack. Do you think you could give me an extra $300? I mean, they don't. No, I'm serious. There's no problem there. I mean, no gag reflex in either way. Okay. I mean, that's what makes them prostitutes. They're uniquely qualified for the position. Politicians are the same. They have deniability. But you voted for this. No, I didn't. No, yes, you did. It's right here in the voting record. Oh, no, I voted for that because there was other language in the legislation that I thought was more important to my constituency. I mean, they always have this ridiculous out because they have no fucking conscience. Donald Trump has no fucking conscience whatsoever. Newt Gingrich had no fucking conscience. He left his wife when she had cancer. I mean, let's be honest about this, folks. The Democrats don't. The Republicans don't. LaVar Ball doesn't. LaVar Ball has no conscience whatsoever. He lives in the moment.
Yep.
Whatever he can blurt out, that's what he's going to blurt out. And it's going to draw attention. And he really believes, as Kim Kardashian and all of them do, that the only thing that is bad in the world is no publicity. To be forgotten is the worst thing in the world. You know, to be, you know, ex-Bruce Jenner somewhere in between in limbo land, that's the worst thing you can be. All right, is forgotten, not talked about anymore. But better to be talked about, you know? If you're Madonna, you stick your tongue in Britney Spears' mouth. Anything, whatever the fuck it takes to get noticed and to get talked about. That's the age we're living in. And LeBron doesn't have to do anything crazy. LeBron just has a torrent of followers, no matter what he does and no matter where he goes. He lives his life relatively cleanly without any kind of, problems, violence, domestic abuse, nothing, none of that. No public drunkenness, none of it. But, you know, there are other guys who maybe don't have the talent that LeBron has, but guys like Johnny Manziel. Johnny Manziel made it into the first round of the NFL for making these stupid gestures and that funny-looking little twerp, you know? Yep. You know, funny-looking little twerp. And what the guy does, he's got no ability whatsoever, but he talked the game. Let's wreck this thing. Hey, we have somebody new in here. Identify.
Yes. The church mouth have cometh.
Hey guys, it's Kev. I actually am friends with Matt and Steven, actually, so but I would come on here.
Oh, you're friends with both of them?
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't something that's like Provincetown, Massachusetts, kind of like. No, it's not like you go to bars together and shit like that. I like to have things up front because I have no problem with that. You know, there are lots of gay sports fans, and I have no problem with that whatsoever. But you know, I think people should know when three guys together. You know,
well, if this makes you feel better, Steven's a Texan fan. I'm a Titan fan, so we could never be gay together.
Yeah. Oh, what? Oh, you're a Titan fan. So
right.
Okay, let me see here. You've been waiting, haven't you? What time is it? Titans. Is there still a team there?
I thought
there's still a team there. They
had like the new or something or helmets.
Yeah, they got new helmets. They went to the second round of playoffs last year. So.
Oh, did they really? I didn't even know that. I mean, isn't that terrible? They never get talked about, do they?
No, sir, they don't.
I mean, who's your starting quarterback?
Marcus Mariota.
Yeah, it's a damn sight better than Jake Locker.
Oh God, Jake Locker. Now we have to go that way.
I was on his bandwagon at first, but it didn't work out.
I love to suck him in. You know, it's like, oh, this guy doesn't know anything about the Tennessee Titans. But
I'm hurt.
Well, don't feel bad. I go all the way back to McNair, so there you go.
Oh my God! Well, I mean, we can't say anything about McNair. We can't.
Yeah, peace.
You know what? The worst part of it is he died in the shotgun. There's something really.
We can talk bad about McNair. I mean, the fact of the matter is that that's what happens, ladies and gentlemen. When you mess with women, you get shot.
Screw around on other women. Yeah, you get shot.
It happened. Well, it's happened. It happened to Sam Cooke, the musician. He was fooling around with a guy's wife in a motel. The guy broke into the room and shot him dead.
Oh shit! I remember that.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of thing has been happening for generations. At any rate,
like Marvin Gaye was shot by his cross-dressing father.
Yeah, or Boy George, who was shot by his drummer. Wait. No. We're not even going to go there. No. I'll tumble for you. No. Right. Now, the Cleveland Cavaliers have lost too much talent. We've got to trade Kevin Love, and that's that. Okay.
But didn't they say they're not going to trade? Didn't they say they're not going to trade Love?
Yeah, and that's exactly what Dan Gilbert would do. I mean, he's going to hold on to this. I'm going to lead the charge. You know who he is? He's Captain Ahab. If you haven't read Moby Dick,
Captain Wrongway Peter Peachfuzz from Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Explain to Matt that Moby Dick is not a pornography novel, okay? Captain Ahab. That's a huge dick. That's Moby Dick, man.
Right.
And didn't y'all lose Jeff Allen, right?
Jeff Green.
Brett Green, I meant.
Yeah, Jeff Green, he's gone. He went, it's pretty bad when you take a hike for a year to the Wizards. I mean, it's like, wow.
Well, the Wizards also got Austin Rivers. They picked up Dwight Howard, too. So, I mean, they're getting little people to help out. Plus, you got Bradley Beal, John Wall. You lost Gortat, but,
Well, how is Dwight Howard better than Gortat?
I think they can point.
I mean, Dwight Howard. I mean, I don't see him as he can't shoot free throws, so he's a liability in the end of games. He also is no longer nimble enough really to cover against pick and rolls any better than Gortat did, which was the reason they said that they got rid of Gortat. Like defense was never considered in Washington in the first place. I don't know. I mean, it's Dan Gilbert playing Captain Ahab, and it's like, what I've dared, I've willed, and what I've willed, I've dared. I mean, he thinks that he's going to make the bottom rung of the playoffs just to prove that he can make the playoffs without LeBron. He didn't put it in a letter this time, but he doesn't have to because, he's a drunk. He's delusional.
Well, good trying to run that offense with Osman and and Love and J.R. Smith.
Yeah.
Oh my God. There we go.
Here's what we're gonna get.
Yeah, there's 4 players that I'd like to see gone. So
one of the things
to get rid of Thompson, J.R. Smith, Hood, and now I can't think of the other one's name.
You can put all their names in a hat and just pull one out. It's not hard
if you could get rid of those 4, I think you could drastically improve the team.
Yeah.
I heard the Lakers are actively pursuing Carmelo Anthony now that they're going to buy him out.
Yeah, and
might as well take on J.R. Smith.
Well, do you know why Carmelo said he was happy leaving Oklahoma City?
Why?
Because he didn't feel comfortable.
Irrelevant.
No. He's never going to say that. I mean, although in Oklahoma City, his groupie action went right down the shitter. To be sure. I mean, it wasn't like he was going to, the problem, he said, was I was never comfortable with the role of being a catch and shoot guy. It's like, go ahead and go with LeBron. That's all you're going to be. You're never going to see the fucking ball. It's like, stand there in the corner, you son of a bitch, and wait for it, and wait. I'm open. That's got to be the most common gesture of LeBron James' teammates, Kyle Korver. I mean, it's like that silent screen painting.
Hey, at least
I wonder why Kawhi Leonard wants to go to the Clippers. He wants to start his own super team over there, I heard.
No, he wants the fucking ball. He's going to play. I mean, can you imagine? It's like, okay, we're going to bring Kawhi and Carmelo in. And so it's like Carmelo becomes the third option. It's like Carmelo is going to be like, fuck! It's like, here's my impression. My impression of Carmelo Anthony playing with Russell Westbrook. I'm the ball. I'm open. Come here. Playing with LeBron James. Come on, now playing with LeBron James and Kawhi Leonard. Fuck it. Man, I don't even want to go into the fucking game. Fuck it.
See, he'll turn into Rodney Hood.
I mean, talking about total disinterest and disillusionment. It's like, I came here because I can score points. No, not anymore. That's not what your role is. What is my role? You got to play defense. I got no legs. He's like Lieutenant Dan. Can't you see? I got no legs.
The problem with Carmelo is not only is he doesn't play defense and he can't penetrate to the basket. I mean, he can shoot buckets. He can shoot that outside shot on ISO, but the problem
his testicles are shrunk in the raisin.
His bats are horrible this year.
Well, I wanted to say goodbye to Bill Livingston, who is retired from the plain dealer. Bill's a good guy. Had Bill on the show. Bill's a straight shooting, old school journalist. And it's a sign of the times. I didn't realize Bill Livingston is 70 years old. And he's worked in a lot of places in Dallas. He worked in Philadelphia. He's worked in Cleveland. He's worked in a lot of different cities. A really schooled newspaper man. And he's gone now. And so now what we have to sit around with is the Chris Fedors and the Joe Vardens and the... It's getting harder and harder, folks.
Mr. Moohead, do you see LeBron James winning a championship with the Lakers at all in his 4-year tenure there? I think it's just wrong place, wrong time.
I would have said originally, yeah, but I think maybe the worms turned. I think maybe something's happened in the sense that players now, I think there was a feeling that being a second and third wheel and getting deep into a championship or winning a championship what was a good thing. And then Chris Bosh happened. And I think players said, man, he sacrificed being the man and he ended up with blood clots and never played again. So people will only remember Chris Bosh because he was the third option. And then they saw it happen to Kevin Love. It's like, Kevin Love, he was an all-star with Minnesota. Never mind the fact that they don't play basketball in Minnesota. They ice fish in Minnesota, but they don't really play basketball. But he was an all-star there.
Hockey, but yeah, they moved to Dallas.
And Kevin Love, what did he become? He became the guy who stood in the corner as the third option behind LeBron and Kyrie. And I think today's athlete now is like, I don't want to be that third wheel, man. If I'm Kawhi Leonard, I'm 27 years old. I'm not ready for the scrap heap. They were saying I was the second best player in the game when I was in San Antonio, and I followed Pop's system. Imagine if I didn't have to follow Pop's system, I could just shoot the ball whenever the hell I wanted to, how many more points I could score, and how much bigger of a contract I could make. I think, and this, you see, is the real determination of what has happened with LeBron James and the athletes, and why Michael Young is wrong about this, why I am right about this, because it is only trying to please the few, not the many. Fuck the fans, fuck the other players, fuck the other guys in the union. I'm going to get mine. And Kawhi Leonard's going to get his with the Clippers. And who cares about the Clippers? The Clippers don't have DeAndre Jordan anymore. Hell, the Clippers couldn't even hold on to J.J. Redick, and he couldn't even hold on to his driver's license because he drinks too much. I mean, what the fuck? What the fuck? Who wants to be with the Clippers? I mean, my God, I remember when Sterling was the owner of the Clippers. Who wanted to be with the Clippers? Doc Rivers is like, oh, how the mighty you fall.
Get out of there.
God.
You know, Mr. Moohead, do you think the NBA needs a hard cap instead of just a regular salary cap, like actual hard cap like the NFL does? That way the players can be allocated all around the team, the NBA?
Yes, because this is just out of control.
It starts doing like just joining other teams. Just there's only what two, three good teams, really good teams that are contenders for the finals.
Pretty much, yeah.
Let me give you guys a secret. It's going to be Warriors and Lakers in the Western Conference Finals. Don't tell anybody I told you.
That's obvious.
And who cares? The worst part of it is who cares? I mean, you know what it's like? It's like going to a pornographic movie because, well, take your favorite porn star. Let's say that you wanted to go to see the Jenna Jameson Film Fest. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but what the hell? Yeah. And you go into the theater and you discover that you know she's going to be in the movies, but what you didn't realize is the movies have been edited and all the good sex scenes have been removed. And you're sitting there saying, why am I here?
Good analogy.
And that
on Golden Pond.
Yeah, I mean, what in the hell? I could have gone to see Uncle Drew. I mean, why am I here? And the answer in the end is that's the NBA. The NBA has become something that is no longer of any interest to anybody. And all the business is, hey, you know, if you were stupid enough to buy a LeBron jersey in the last 90 days, we'll swap it. We'll swap it for the real LeBron jersey for the Lakers and prime the pump and see if we can make more LeBron fans. And they're just moving fans from team to team. They're not establishing any fresh blood. It isn't like there are new people who are coming into the religion of the NBA. It's just like baseball. You know, I sit there and I watch the Indians playing in the AL Central, which is really AAA baseball. And I'm watching them. They're in Detroit. They're in Kansas City. And there's something missing. And it's like, fans! The guy who's yelling, hot dogs! He's not even yelling anymore.
I don't even think the baseball games have been getting that many attendance this year.
I mean, John Adams doesn't have to drum to get noticed. I mean, it's pathetic. The attendance in these games, there's disinterest. Total disinterest. ESPN ran a promo on baseball. It was unbelievable because they were going to show the Red Sox.
Sam Adams is drinking himself silly.
Well, the Red Sox and the Yankees were going to have a series. They were going to show it on ESPN, and it said the Red Sox are good, but the Yankees are always good. And it's like, what? Does anybody know who Brian Cashman is? Does anybody know how bad the Yankees have been until they happen to rebuild their minor league system by trading away all the shitty contracts that they gave out from the previous generation? I mean, the Yankees haven't been that good. But the fact is now New York is all the rage. All the rage. They got Stanton and they got Judge. And they, you know.
Hasn't Ramirez and Lindor been a better duo at hitting home runs than them two? Judge and Stanton?
Yeah, but nobody knows. Nobody cares about that because it's all the media crunch. It's all what the media wants to scream about all day. So it's the same teams getting attention. It's major market teams. Dolan's going to be forced to sell the Knicks.
That's obvious.
You mark my words. Dolan will sell the Knicks. They got a gun to his head. They got a gun.
The gun's there. When's the trigger going to be pulled?
I don't know. He's gonna sell the Knicks.
They gone.
It better happen soon because Kyrie and Jimmy Butler want to play in New York. Been made clear, been specified, been verbally stated. That's the deal.
Yeah, the Rockets just offered a trade to the Minnesota. It got leaked the other day. Did you hear about that, Brian?
No.
You want to hear the trade proposal? The Rockets are offering Eric Gordon, PJ Tucker, that Asian kid we drafted 2 years ago, Zai Chu. I can't think of how his name, kind of like a smaller version of Yao Ming. A first-round draft pick for Butler.
A 4-for-1?
A 4-for-1.
And Butler is free agent in 2019 and he wants to play with Kyrie Irving.
Yep.
Now,
we're only going to go to 1 year rental.
You really think that Kyrie's going to stay in Boston? Kyrie has opened up his options to go wherever he wants to go in 2019. They have an opportunity to get a new owner with the Knicks and an opportunity to guarantee Kyrie and Butler to come to New York, and they're going to make that market like L.A. And, you know, this is what they have to do because the bigger cities, that's where the jersey sales, that's where the merchandising.
The problem for Kyrie is the fact that the Celtics have already proven that they can win without him.
And that's the point. The point is it won't be that much of a blow to the people in Boston because I didn't see him play that much. It isn't like the Cavaliers where he hits the game-winning shot in the Game 7. It isn't that. I mean, they could do away with him, and then they got the young players. It's like we can still do our job here in the East. But you see, it's all about the media centered in Los Angeles and in New York, and they can just 24/7 just wallpaper everything that we see and we hear surrounding those teams. So,
Mr. Movehead, now that you brought that up, I was doing NBA videos the other day on my channel, and some of my subscribers are fans of the Magic, Suns, and Sacramento, and all these smaller market teams, and they feel like without a hard cap, it actually just benefits them from attracting free agents because who wants to go to Orlando or Sacramento when you can go to New York, the Big Apple, or you can go to LA or Boston?
Well, Sacramento's a cesspool.
But what I'm just saying is that small market teams don't benefit without a hard cap because nobody wants to go there.
That's right. I mean, and I'm hearing all this stuff on Twitter. It's so funny. You know, people don't realize how great a city Cleveland is. I grew up in Northeast Ohio, you know? And it's like when people will tell you, it's like, oh, yeah, my favorite restaurant's Mr. Hero. You just want to fucking shoot him in the head. It's like, where the hell have you been? Have you ever been to Paris? Have you ever been to Paris? And have you ever eaten like foie gras? Have you ever been to Manhattan and eaten Kobe beef or gone to Japan and eaten it? Have you ever? Like, oh, I like Mr. Hero, man, because they're based in Cleveland. It's like,
hey, Mr. Bouet, speaking of Mr. Hero, are you waiting on Hard Knocks for Jimmy Haslam to have a warrant for his arrest and the FBI's coming to race in the actual building with cameras on and he flees to his jet and takes off and leaves Hugh Jackson by himself to fend for himself?
I want what you know what I want? Seriously, there is something I want. I want them to recreate the little jump.
It's got to be a seaplane. It's got to be a seaplane.
I can see Jimmy Haslam.
You have to jump into the lake again.
Gotta go, guys! And he takes off running down the stairwell.
No, I want to see Hugh Jackson recreate the jump of the lake, but this time they'll make it a holy baptism. All right, they'll turn it into a religious aquatic ceremony so they can baptize him and so that he can be made clean and whole so that he can actually win a fucking football game this year. That would be a good thing for Hard Knocks.
Mr. Red, low-key, I'm rooting for the Browns this year to at least try to win 10 games. But I have a funny feeling the NFL doesn't really want that because Cleveland makes a great storyline based on the art of losing. I mean, I'm just being honest,
NFL's like that, so.
And Crazy Dogs in the chat room saying the Indians are invisible. Yeah, I mean, but you know what? That's a good point. Crazy Dog. He adds so many videos to his channel. I mean, there was one that he put up where he was just counting backwards from 100. I don't know what the point of it. But it just came up, and it was like, and everything flashes across my goddamn, my YouTube, and it's like, Crazy Dog is on the air, and it's like 74, 73, 72. It's like, what does this guy do all day?
No, I actually like Crazy Dog. Every time he makes a video when the Browns lose, he actually adds a little humor to it. Like, he'll start talking, and he's sarcastic, but he's trying to pass off as being serious, but he is. But at the same time, being sarcastic, he's like putting two together, and I like that. You know
what he's counting? He's counting to 100 because he's counting because 100 years from now is when Cleveland will win their first Super Bowl.
He's probably right about that. There is one other guy. Crazy Dog does a good job. I'm just messing with him. There is a guy on YouTube, and it drives me crazy. After every Browns game, he comes on for 5 minutes. He does a 5-minute spiel, and his 5 minutes, he says, and the Browns, they gave up the first touchdown with 7 minutes and 14 seconds left in the first quarter. And he just literally tells you what you've already watched for 3 hours. It's like,
I know that guy.
What the fuck is his problem?
Zeppelin or something. I've seen his videos. He'll literally reiterate the game that just already took place.
It's like, do you think I have a learning disability and I don't remember what I just spent 3 hours doing? It's like, I'm looking for some insight, dude.
Yeah.
Like, what's his job? Does he feed goats or something?
I don't know. I mean, you know what it's like? It's like a person who calls themselves an artist, but all they really do is they fill in coloring books. I mean, and they're going between the lines. I mean, what's the point? It's like, why would you go to the trouble of creating like a program? Why would you do it and just dutifully do it week after week after week? They lose every game, and you never make an editorial comment. You simply state, and at the end of the game, the Browns lost 24-17. Hey, thanks for watching.
Like you need that.
You can put some passion into it.
Subs too. He's got a ton of views. He gets thousands of views of video for just reiterating what you already saw.
I know. That's what kills me. He gets more views than I do.
He gets 4,000 or 5,000 views for these shitty videos, and I'm like, dude, you just reiterated what we just saw. Now you're making me more depressed again.
I mean, and yeah, the guy's got like 1,000 views, and I'm going like, for what? And I'm convinced again. 5 minutes. 5 minutes is the key. Anything that you can, if you can do it in 5 minutes, people will watch you. Okay.
You want to know why he gets all those views? Because people feel sorry for him because the way he's talking, they're like, man, he's a Cleveland fan, man. We gotta feel sorry for him.
But if you notice, back in the day, and we'll do another pornography thing, because back in the day, people would sit in theaters, not in very nice theaters, and kind of in sticky theaters, and they would watch hour-long porn movies. Okay. But you see, when the internet was created and porn was extended to the masses, no 1 hour porn. It's like now we have orgasm compilation. 5 minutes of people having orgasms. And there's no plot. There's no nothing. All there, but if you can get it into 5 minutes, man, people will watch it. What sound bites are?
Oh, Crazy Dog, you're awesome.
What did he say? I'm not even watching him.
Oh, Amsterdam made a comment that he's repeating rap lyrics. Kyrie has his mind on his money and his money on his mind.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah.
I said, no, he just wants to join Jay-Z's Illuminati so he can try to cop a feel from Rihanna.
Hold on a second. Let Brian finish.
Okay, sorry.
So I wrote back, he wants to join Jay-Z's Illuminati so he can try to cop a feel from Rihanna. And Crazy Dog says, I think I know who you're talking about.
I wonder whose posse Crazy Dog is in, seriously. How do you think which side of the Tupac Biggie thing did he fall on? I'm just kind of curious.
He was always on his own team.
Yeah, it's like he does a good job, but it just really galls me that it's like anything you can put into a little sound bite, you can get, I'll tell you, but remember America's Funniest Home Videos, that horrible ABC program?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's like, here's little Timmy swinging a bat and hitting his dad in the dick. It's like, if you ever been hit in the dick by a baseball bat, it doesn't matter who the fuck did it to you. It isn't cute. Yeah, but it was only 30 seconds, and we could fit that guy's testicles being rammed into his abdomen in 30 seconds. And that's important.
And then that video will be like in a number 3 where everybody has to vote. Okay, vote for this, or vote for this monkey shitting on a woman's face.
Yeah. The monkey. It took the monkey too long to shit. God damn it. The thing that makes me really irritated is when I become more disgusted, I start sounding like Bruce Drennan. It was great. The other day I saw something on Twitter, and it was Bruce Drennan's reaction to an idiot caller. Every so often, he just gets an idiot caller who says the most ridiculous thing that you can imagine. And
now some of that's planned.
Yeah, well, it may be planned, but what's priceless is I know Bruce, and I have spoken to him personally off the air, and he gets so frustrated about going places, and he's become kind of like a fixture in Cleveland media. He wanted to go to other cities. He started so young in Cleveland, and he never got out. Cleveland to Bruce is kind of like Alcatraz. Okay. I mean, he says, I love you, Cleveland. And deep down, it's like this cancer in his soul because he never was able to get out of Cleveland. And, and so he has to listen to these idiots make these incredible comments. Things like, guy says, I think we should trade Corey Kluber. Remember he had the bad game? I think we should trade Corey Kluber. It's so great. His reaction is like, why me? Why me? Yeah. It's just fucking priceless. It's like God made a determination when Bruce was born. It's like he's going to listen to all the stupid people in Northeast Ohio for the rest of his fucking life.
Hey, Mr. Moohead, I wanted to ask you something. If you trade Kevin Love, what are you expecting in return? I mean, just from your perspective, like what would you like in return? A bunch of picks or what?
Yeah. I get as many bodies as I could because there is no group of midline talent that's going to come your way. You've got to trade him to a place that has high draft picks. And I'm not talking about number 1 overalls, but I mean, you got to get a couple of picks for this and move on because he's not athletic. He could be a nice piece for a team like the 76ers. He could be a great piece for a team like the Rockets, especially now that Capella may not re-sign.
Even go to the Lakers. Figures.
Yeah, I mean, I think that he could be a nice piece in a lot of places, but in Cleveland, it would be a waste. He would be sucked in to the vortex of another 25-win team. And we saw that he was never able to bring the Minnesota Timberwolves out of any of their lethargy. All the years he was great there and putting up 27 a night, he couldn't bring them out.
Yeah.
So, I trade him and I would try to get young talent and try to hit on something because the only interest there's going to be in Cleveland is if you have a young player here and there who isn't named Deion Waiters. It's like, oh, God.
Also, Mr. Boohead, Cousins going to Golden State. Many of my subscribers said that was a bitch move and that there's really no point to watching the season this year. Do you feel that way?
Well, I mean, there's two things about Boogie Cousins. One is that he's coming off of a very bad injury that and 70% of the people who come off of that injury are simply not the same and their stats plummet. That is probably one of the hardest. I don't know if you ever saw Dan Marino try to scramble after he tore his Achilles tendon. It was pretty painful to watch.
Yeah.
But, football players, running backs don't come back, with the big hard cut and cutbacks after that injury. So there's a risk involved. He can't play until January or February. So it would be strictly a playoff maneuver, assuming that he would get himself in a condition and be able to play. And it's a 1-year deal, and all he's trying to do is Isaiah Thomas's way to the Brinks truck. That's the Brinks truck for Isaiah Thomas, by the way, that is winding him up where? Not in Los Angeles, folks. Did you hear where he's going?
Where?
Orlando. It's like the Brinks truck ended up in Orlando. It's like the land of the forgotten. It's like horrible. The first thing Isaiah Thomas is going to see when he walks into that arena is going to be a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Maybe he'll get swallowed by a python or something.
But is there any truth, Mr. Moohead? Is it true that Cousins turned down a 2-year, $40 million deal to New Orleans?
That I don't know. What I do know is that he's positioning himself for the following year. And this is the other part of the selfish NBA player thing, Mike Young, is that instead of proving yourself by doing something, you try to play less than half a season, Isaiah Thomas. And if you give people a little taste of what you can do, then you're going to make the big money the next year, and you're going to be off to wherever you can make money. And in the interim, you can take off 2/3 of the season and grab a ring. This is, the fact that JaVale McGee has a ring, in my mind, I mean, besides the one in his nose, I swear to God, there's no justice in the world when 1 minute he's being shacked as a fool, and the next minute he's got a ring. It's like winning a ring does. And there's one more thing, and I know I'm coming off as angry, but when I turn on ESPN and I'm watching their roundtable NBA discussion, and it's fucking Ryan Hollins. Hollins. It's like Ryan Hollins was the weakest sauce I ever saw play professional basketball. Yeah. That guy is the biggest pussy I ever seen in my life. That guy has no right even talking about basketball.
He's articulate, but he talks a lot out of his ass, though. He talks as if he was a main star, and I played alongside with Cousins. Oh yeah, never got in the game.
But yeah, it was like I played garbage minutes with Kevin Garnett. Congratulations. God almighty, he was awful. And I have to sit and watch him, and he's a talking head. It's like I need this.
And he's very argumentative, too. He argues almost everything you say. He contradicts it.
Yeah, he gets those really mean eyes, but there's nothing to back it up because you saw him play basketball and he got pushed around like a little redheaded stepchild bitch.
Yeah. I played alongside with Cousins. I'm like, what? Like in the last 5 minutes of the game when you're down by 50?
No, he met his own cousins. He was playing with a couple of his cousins in the backyard. It was a Nerf basketball game.
Hey, I'm open.
You know, even when he was open, he really didn't have a career. That's why he's a commentator at like 24.
No, he was in the league for about 10 years. The guy was in the league, but he played with a different team every year. I mean, it's kind of like Jeff Green. Jeff Green is a guy who's played for so many teams. He almost died of a heart attack, but then he kept jumping from team to team. So he had a longer stay at the hospital than he did with most of the teams that he played for. I mean, this is...
He played for 15 teams. Jim Jackson. Remember him?
Who was?
Jim Jackson. He used to play for
Ohio State.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They go all over the place.
Played for the Hawks.
I remember when he was in Dallas.
Yeah.
He was pissed off because Jason Kidd said he wanted to date his girlfriend or something.
He always was in the hands-on defense. At any rate, it's 10 after 7, and I've been so angry for so long. But, you know, I can't be happier to see we have a new face on the air here, you know. Oh, yeah. And Kevin, are you going to make sure that you come back?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Because you have to, because you just can't strand me here. You can't leave me.
I will not pull a Kevin Durant on you, okay?
I thought you were going to say a Stephen Rose.
I ain't Katie nobody.
Yeah, he still got questions from his father.
But no, I mean, I love fresh blood on the show, and the fact of the matter is that anybody who appears on the show is instantly Moohead family. And it doesn't matter if you're a Titans fan, if you're a Texans fan, if you're basically a deaf mute like Matt. It doesn't really matter. Okay. Yeah. You know what? It's a good thing Matt didn't come over to my house. I've got 3 dogs, and they've mistaken for a fire hydrant, and that would not be pretty. That would not be pretty. No, Matt.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. But you gotta admit, though, Matt's got a nice smile for a guy. Though. I mean,
he does. He and you know something? There's something more going on in there. We just don't know what it is exactly. But you know, he might be the next Unabomber. It's really hard. I'm kidding.
You experimented on by the CIA.
I love Matt. He's a great guy.
Weeks and weeks of
man, I know you're about to kick us off. I just have one last question, and then I'm out of here. I just want to know, with LeBron going to the West, is this going to shape up for a top? Is this going to force the NBA to consider a top 16 because the Eastern Conference is going to be born?
Yes.
Represent the Eastern Conference in the next at least 3 to 4 years.
That's where it's moving. Yeah. You're not going to get the playoff system is not going to be what it is now, because I mean, let's be honest. Some of the teams that are you know in the playoffs. I mean, you know, you've heard of In-N-Out Burger. It's like that. I mean, it's just In-N-Out.
So who's coming out of the East? Are we predicting a Warriors-Celtics finals? Because that's what it's looking like to me.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing that could change that would be is if the Sixers actually got somebody who could put the ball in the basket. And, you know, the problem with the Sixers is, you know, if they're in transition, they can score, but really in the half court, they're hopeless, and they're not improving themselves. And I see no evidence that Ben Simmons is working on extending his shooting range, and that's a real problem if he's not going to be motivated to do that kind of thing. So it's going to be hard for them to beat Boston if they don't have people, you know, when Kyrie's back, when Gordon Hayward's back, with Tatum, who's really come into his own after his rookie year. He was really good. He almost led them past the Cavaliers. I mean, it was, you know, he's just so young, you know, being 20 years old, you know, but he's now made every big shot. And Marcus Smart is now upset because, you know, nobody's chasing after him. But the truth is that the Celtics aren't going to commit to Marcus Smart until they're sure they're out of the other sweepstakes and the other players, because they need a lot more to win a championship. They got the East most likely, but adding another player And if they can package Marcus Smart and a few other assets, they could easily win the East, not worry about the 76ers, and then really turn their attentions to,
where do you see Leonard going when all this is over? I want you guys to just say it real quick. Where do you see Leonard going?
The Clippers.
Clippers?
Yeah.
Clippers.
Yeah, I think Clippers, yeah.
I think he's going to get stuck in San Antonio this year.
He's not going to play.
That's why he's going to be stuck in San Antonio.
Did you see that Tony Parker left the San Antonio Spurs?
Yeah, 2-year deal with the Hornets.
He's going
$10 million.
I mean, what the hell is that? I mean, what Tony Parker thinks that he's going from San Antonio? I mean, it's like there is no Alamo in Charlotte. You know what there is in Charlotte? There's a memorial where Bobby Phills crashed his car and died.
Oh, I remember that.
Oh my God, there is nothing in Charlotte basketball. Nothing. It's a black hole.
They got Kemba Walker, and chances are he may get traded.
Yeah, but I mean, Tony Parker's 90 years old.
Sat on by grandmama.
Well, here's my problem with the Charlotte basketball. As much as I love you, Michael Jordan, and I was a Bulls fan growing up. As much as I love you, you suck as a president of basketball operations.
He sucks.
That's what Frodo said.
Yeah, but again, that whole thing is blown up in San Antonio, and so I wouldn't be surprised to see Popovich kind of get out of there too. Guys, I got to get out of here because my knee is totally stiffening up, and I've got to manage to get upstairs. That ought to be fun. I should video that. That would be more entertaining than the fucking show. All right, guys. 30 seconds. All right, man. Matt, thank you. Stephen, thank you. Brian, thank you. And Kevin, thank you. Or you're the Matt.
I'm the Matt and Kev show.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. So we thank you, and that's it. Thanks for everybody for tuning in. We'll be back again doing this on Monday, come hell or high water. Until then, hasta la vista, pastor heads. Good night.